Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Turnbuckles and stogies. Yo, what is up? What is up? Yo, happy Sunday. Another Sunday with your favorite hostess with the mostest.
My dad, I'm doing a wrestling punch. I looked at him, I said, hey.
We are Turnbuckles and Stogies Pod, your hostess with the mostest, the big dog, the vanilla gorilla, and ladies and gentlemen, today, yo, y'all ready for this? Because I don't think they're ready for this, Joe.
I don't know. It might not be.
What up, everybody? What's going on? Ooh, happy Sunday. Sorry, guys. A little under the weather today. I apologize for that. I don't know if our co-host will be joining us or not. If not, it's just me. Don't worry about it. I'm the favorite part anyway, so it doesn't matter. So, obviously, if you read the title, we are live today with Black Starline cigars, a brand that I've heard quite a bit about. Haven't had the opportunity to smoke any of their stuff yet, but I will now because I picked them up yesterday. So real quick, let's cover some quick little wrestling news. So last night you had Full Gear, AEW's Full Gear, which was great. From what I heard, I didn't watch it. Daniel Garcia is the TNT champion. Orange Cassidy put on a hell of a show against John Moxley. So I'm very curious to see where they go with that one. And then you got Bloodline versus Bloodline next week on Saturday. So that'll be very interesting as well, because now you added CM Punk to the mix as the fifth man. And Paul Heyman is back. So, again, I'm curious to see what they do with that. It's going to be a very good showing next week, or next weekend, I should say. Ooh. With Bloodline versus Bloodline. Solo and his Bloodline versus Roman, Sammy, Jay, and Jimmy, the original Bloodline, with CM Punk as an added addition. And then you have the women's War Games match, but Jade isn't in it, so I'm curious to see who they replace her with since she's now out. You have Bianca, Io, Rhea, and so I forget who. It was supposed to be Jade, but obviously it's not now. Then you have Liv, Raquel, Tiffany, and Nia. So it should be a very interesting match. Sorry, guys, I'm a little. I'm just starting to feel better, so I apologize for my time of me being off and all that timing today. I apologize, but I'm here for you guys. So let me give me like 2 seconds. Let me play a quick commercial, and I'll be right back. Where's it at?
The fact that our patriotism in America is dwindling, I really wanted to start the American.
Yo, so I keep telling y'all, the boss knows every motherfucking body. Keep telling y'all that. So guess who showed up at the hotel here in Connecticut And y'all not gonna believe this shit. Joe, they ready for this shit, Joe?
I don't know. Are they?
Y'all not gonna believe this shit, but I'm gonna show y'all who showed up. This is the CEO and founder of NESS.
And one half of the
My man.
Sports Show.
Go ahead, man.
What's going on, fellows out there? Glad to be here with my favorite wrestling podcast. I love these guys. They're unique. They're funny. And I'll tell you, they know a lot about wrestling. You got to go to the Roku channel. All you got to do, channel search on Roku TV, channel search National Streaming Sports, and you'll get their show.
So, Mac, let me ask you this. So, they can't find it. It's like the Pat McAfee show. Once ESPN take that shit off for the hour, it's done.
That's right. That's right.
So if you're not gonna watch from 11 to 12:30, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. It's like being a barn. Wait, it's like being a barn smoker. If you ain't got your fucking ticket, you ain't getting in.
I know what to tell you.
Go ahead.
Go to the Turnbuckles and Stogies podcast YouTube page, and you can watch all of our back episodes from episode 5 and on.
But
the originals are on the MB Radio YouTube page.
Let me tell you something else. Go where people know. 12,430 followers.
Whoa!
On the Roku channel.
Whoa!
1,600 views a day.
I feel like Elizabeth.
I'm telling you.
Elizabeth, Fat Sanford, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, I'm coming, Elizabeth.
I mean, you don't get any better than that.
Sports all day, every day, to include my favorite wrestling podcast.
Well, and there you have it, guys. Our producer from Connecticut, Mr. Mac Attack himself. And God bless us. Yo, we'll see y'all. We took a Sunday off. So we'll see y'all next week. Have a good day, guys.
All right.
All right, and we're back. I think our co-host is joining us. I don't know. If he decides to, he decides to. If he doesn't, I can't force him to do anything. So, as I was saying before, I apologize for all the coughing. I'm a little under the weather, but I'm feeling better. We're here. It's Sunday with your favorite podcast. Hey, look, there he is. I don't know if he's coming to hang out with us, though. I'm just waiting to see if he's coming on or not. But he's here. So, as you can see, that's what we'll be smoking today. Also, got a new lighter from Kernup. They sent this to me. So, thank you to them. It's got a nice V cutter, a little cigar rest on the top. Nice marble or weird finish, whatever you want to call it. Wood.
Hey, what's up, bro? I can't hear or see you. Yeah, I'm getting no audio from you at all, bro. I can see you on
Can you
my
hear me
phone,
now?
but I'm not getting any audio from the YouTube page either.
That's weird. Hold on,
Yeah, I can hear you on my phone, but
let me
I know
try this.
on
Hold
my
on.
iPad it's just a black screen.
Can you hear me now, bro?
Yeah, on my phone,
Is
not on
that
the
better?
iPad. Nothing. It's still a black
So
screen.
is it? All right, hold on, guys. Hold on.
You want me to?
1 second. Hold on. We're not really sure what's going on. Let me figure it out.
He sits on his bed with his gun in his hand. He thinks his life is over, he can't understand. A bottle of whiskey and some pills in the drawer. He doesn't wanna hurt himself or hurt anymore. Why must it be this way? Just think it all over and listen to the words I say. You are not alone. There are so many people who fight with their demons each day. 'Cause you are not alone. So take my hand, brother, let's beat this together today. You're not alone. She picks up the clothes that fall loose on the floor. She finds a crumpled letter just behind the door. Begins to read it with tears in her eyes. A horrible feeling takes over inside. Says, honey, can I talk to you? There has to be something that.
There we go.
Can you see me now? Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
I can see and yep, I can see and hear you now.
Better?
Yeah, much better, brother. Nice to meet you.
All right. You too. So we apologize for that, guys. I don't know what happened. I'm not really sure what went wrong. I don't know. So let's you want to kind of give everybody a background about you and how you kind of got into cigars and maybe, how you came up with the name of the brand?
Yeah, of course. I'm a retired Chicago firefighter, so that's when I started smoking cigars like full time. I had cigars before in the past, but it was like one off here and there, like you in the Bahamas smoking some cheap shit and you don't even know what you're smoking,
Right.
and that type of thing. So, but I really grew to love of the leaf in the firehouse. So, sitting around waiting for calls, smoking in there, and I was like, man, I really love these. So I started off smoking like infused cigars actually, and then I was so curious about other brands, so I started smoking Drew Estate brands. So I started smoking through all their stuff, and so my palate changed. So when I went back and tried to smoke an infused cigar, it tastes like straight shit. So I was like, yeah, no, I can't do the infused cigars anymore. So I was really going real hard on Drew Estate cigars. So I was sitting here in my garage and I was like, hey, I was thinking about starting a business and, the idea of cigars came up. So I hit up my childhood friend and I was like, hey, you want to help me start a cigar line? He said, hell yeah, let's roll. So we started networking at Drew Estate events and that's how I got cool with Jonathan Drew. So Jonathan Drew encouraged me to talk to El Titan de Bronze, or El Titan de Bronze, as some people say, in Miami. It's Willie Herrera's family. So I chased Sandy for a long time. Sandy is the owner of the factory. So I was calling. She wasn't in the factory because her mother was sick. So she wasn't spending a lot of time in the factory. So we kept calling. And then one day the voices in my head told me like, man, send her some flowers to wish the family well. But it was also my ulterior motive was to keep me on her mind. So I sent flowers down there. Still didn't hear anything. So maybe a couple of months after that, the same kind of like voices or feeling in my head was like, hey, you need to call right now. So I called down there and Giselle, Willie's wife, answered the phone. So I asked for Sandy and she said, oh yeah, Sandy's right here. Handed the phone over to her. So I was talking to Sandy and Sandy said, hey, you were the nice guys from Chicago that sent me those flowers a couple of months ago, right? I said, yeah, that was me. She said, you know how to treat a woman. So I'm going to do these blends for you. So my first 2 blends came from El Titan de Browns in Miami. Then fast forward, I met Sean Williams, and Sean Williams, the global brand ambassador of Cohiba. I mean, he's my mentor. I met him, and then he's the one that introduced me to Terrence Riley at Aganorsa Leaf, and that's when I started developing lines through Aganorsa Leaf. The first blend I ever did through Aganorsa Leaf is Warwich, and then I just kept building the portfolio from there with that factory. Then that moved me on to me working with Aganorsa caught the attention of James Brown from Oveja Negra, Black Label Trading Company. So then that sparked him to want to work with me as well. And then I started working with Tabacalera La Isla in Santiago, Dominican Republic, which is actually Ostos, the owner, is actually Terrence Riley's cousin. They're both related to Casada.
Okay.
So so I started working with Ostos, and that's where Mr. Fahrenheit came from. And then for my 5th year anniversary cigar, Maroon is the name of the cigar. The idea was brought to me by Richie Riot Otero from Espinoza. So I deal with La Zona too, and Eric Espinoza's factory. Now the name of the company is from Marcus Garvey, and Marcus Garvey Shipping Company. So his idea was to ship goods and people back to Africa, but he wasn't, you know, he didn't buy. He was buying dilapidated ships, so he didn't make it that far. So he only made it to the islands. But he got the name from the White Star Line, and the White Star Line is the company that built the Titanic. So it's a historical name that I use. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I had heard a lot about you using the historical names, and I like that because I'm a history person. So like I enjoy the backstory behind the history of the name, because we had Danny on from 505, who's a good friend of ours.
Oh yeah,
and
for 1F.
He actually he was telling us about like the naming behind some of your cigars, because he really loves them. So he's telling me, he's like, yeah, he uses this. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, I really like that. I was like, you know what, that's interesting. It's different. It's something that nobody really does anymore.
Yeah, I was raised by 2 educators, so not only do I want you to enjoy the tobacco, but I also want you to learn something that you may or may not have known. And it may be, you know, my culture may be totally different from yours, because you get to learn about something other than yourself. You know, so everybody thinks it's cool that they, you know, they learn about different things, and then the cigars are good.
No, I like that. You know, I wasn't able, when we went looking, I wasn't able to get the Marron or anything like that, but I was able to pick up, I don't know what the name is, but it's this. I picked up the red and blue. That's so there's the red and the blue of this that I picked up. Yep.
That's the Corojo in your
store
hand.
we went to only had those 2 lines. Okay.
Yeah, that's the Corojo in your hand, and the blue and black one is the sun-grown Habano. Yeah, so I did those. I did the color schemes for the first responders: red and black for firefighters, and blue and black for police officers.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, once you gave that backstory of you being a former Chicago fireman and stuff, it makes sense that you did it that way. You know, that makes sense. This is the first time I'm ever experiencing your cigars. So,
good.
You know, this is new for both of us.
Okay.
Well,
and where did you say you got the
cigars very
from?
enjoyable cigar world in New Jersey.
Raj's sister, I think, owns that. I forgot what.
Hina. Yeah, and then I mean there's some age on it too.
Yeah, those oils are coming out in the cello,
people
the
that
yellow
can't
cello.
see.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
yeah,
that yellow cello. Yeah, that's the good. Those were my first two
is
blends, but they were originally produced at El Team de Bronze, and then I moved all production to Aganorsa Leaf.
okay. And now, how long have you been with Aganorsa? Because I know you said you went through a couple of different factories you worked with.
Aganorsa has been 4 years. Yeah, so that's the
Okay.
core. The core of my company comes from Aganorsa Leaf. So
Because I'd seen, like, when you had came out with Mr. Fahrenheit, I think that was one of the first times I had actually heard of your brand. And then
yeah,
I'd followed, through Danny and other people smoking it and stuff like that. I kind of followed along. I
hmm
just never was able to pick it up. And by the time I went to pick it up online, most of the time, whatever you had kind of dropped was already sold out. So it
yeah,
was like I went to pick them up, but then by the time I got there, it was already gone.
yeah. I think Small Batch has them. If you order from
So
them, they should have them.
okay,
So
yeah.
how many
But I got
shops
a whole
are you
new
in New
order.
York?
New York, just one.
Really?
Cigar Superstore in Long Island. I don't have a rep in that area, so it's hard, and I can't go work the area myself because I'm too busy in other areas. So yeah, so just one for now, and then Cigar World is in Jersey. I can't remember what city it's in.
That's in Ramsey, New Jersey. We go there all the time.
hmm
So let me ask you this. So you said these are for the firefighters and the police, right?
Yes, indeed.
So now, do you donate to them with the cigars, or how does that work?
So with Mr. Fahrenheit, a portion of Mr. Fahrenheit is donated to Ignite the Spirit. That's the Chicago firefighter charity here. So yeah, a portion of Mr. Fahrenheit does. That's the only one though.
Okay.
hmm
Are you going to PCA this year? Well, 2025.
Yeah. I go every year.
And so, what's the newest cigar that you're going to release? What's the new cigar that released out already before PCA?
Well, for this past PCA, the
Yeah.
one I released at the past PCA was Maroon. The one I did with Espinoza. I got another one that's
Yeah,
supposed to come out this PCA.
They're coming on our show December 29th or 22nd. So I got to tell you, this is the first time I ever tried this. It's got a good draw. It's got a good ash.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming on, taking time out of your schedule. Danny actually recommended you to come on. We're good friends with Danny.
That.
He was on our podcast too.
Yeah.
So I know Joey asked you, like, how'd you get in cigars? And before you did cigars, what was your full-time job?
Firefighter. Yeah.
Oh, you was a firefighter in Chicago?
Yeah. I'm a retired Chicago firefighter. Yeah, I got injured on the job. I tore my labrum in my hip real bad. So they ended my career.
That's a good thing. I mean, I used to be a volunteer in where we live now, and after 2011, I went out because I just couldn't take it no more because the stuff I seen in the World Trade Center was just crazy.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Yeah, it's traumatic.
People don't realize that the stuff you see down there is I've went into burning buildings, I've went into factories, but the stuff I seen down there is just unbelievable.
Horrific.
It's like being in Beirut, But
so
let me ask you. So this cigar that I'm smoking, the Black Starline with the blue.
Yes,
what is this made of?
El Milagro.
And what is it made of?
It's a sun-grown Habano with a Nicaraguan binder and filler.
And then this is the Corojo.
Yep, Corojo 99. Okay. Yeah, it's a Corojo 99.
Oh.
Yeah.
Corojo 99, excuse me.
Yeah. I'm saying that because I use the Corojo 2012. There's a Corojo.
Yeah, no, there's so many different ones for that wrapper. It's like you have a regular Corojo, then you have the 99, then you have, like you said, the 2012. It's like a Habano. You have sun grown, you have regular Habano, you have Habano 2000.
Yeah.
You have Ecuadorian Habano. Like it's so many wrappers and fillers that sometimes, you know, people don't realize, for guys like you who are constantly putting out new products, how long it's actually taking to blend these products and how far in advance you're already working on them.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm sure the one you did, what was it for Cigar Dojo? You guys did one?
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. I'm saying I'm sure that took a while, because I know before that you had just released something too. So
well,
I know
bro, I'm like
that
I'm sort of like Tupac,
so
man,
far in
where,
advance.
you know, with Tupac, will go in the studio and he don't do one song. He lays down like 30 songs. So I literally have like another 10 blends in my phone. So I don't just do what I don't put together just one. I keep putting them together. So I always have something in the chamber to put into sample mode.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, some people don't realize that is you have to have so many blends ready to go so that you can turn around to the factory and say, if they're already made, then sitting, you know, say, hey, I want this blend. Here's what here's the labels, and, you know, get it ready to go.
So Danny mentioned one of your cigars,
the Marone, the 5-year anniversary.
So where can we pick that up? Because Cigars New Jersey doesn't have that.
Since I don't know, you say you're in Poconos, so Long Island is far from y'all, then, right?
Long Island, no, we're only like what, an hour and a half from Long Island.
Yeah. So if you want to get it locally, you go to Cigar Superstore. They have Maroon there because I just sold it to them.
Right.
Now, if you buy it on, you could get it online. Like I said, small batch. Cigar Farm is in Pennsylvania. They sell online. Black Line Luxury, that's Harrisburg Beer and Cigars in Pennsylvania. So that, you know, for them to ship from Pennsylvania to you all, that'd be close.
I know where I know where that is. I went there to Harrisburg.
Yeah.
That's
they
like
have it. They'll ship it to you.
3.5 hours.
Yeah, but they'll ship it to you.
But you go and you make I look at it as something like that. You go and make a weekend out of it.
Oh yeah.
You leave on a Friday night. Saturday you go hang out at the lounge for a little while. You go to another lounge. You go here. Well, you can ask him.
So how did you come up with Black Starline?
Yeah, so he said it was the white line, like the Titanic.
Yeah,
how did you now the names for the cigars themselves? I know they have a meaning. What's the meaning behind this one?
El Milagro. El Milagro means the miracle in Spanish. So I felt it was a miracle I got into the cigar industry. Those are my first 2 blends. So I thought it was a fucking miracle, bro. Because I was having a hard time initially getting in. But once El Titan opened the doors for me, that was it.
So now let me ask you this. So I see that you have certain people working for you, and Mimi's one of them. Is she like a regular employee, or is she just for like your events?
No, she's been with us 3 years, I want to say. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 years.
Because there's a lot of companies that only have certain people that are for events, and you know, a lot of people always ask us, you know, well, what about this person? Do they wear? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, you could come on when next time they're on the podcast and ask them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like,
so she supports my events on the West Coast. If my rep is Tim Wong. So he handles several states on the West Coast for me. So if he's doing an event in her vicinity of Sacramento or the Bay Area, then you know, she goes and supports the event and supports my rep. So, but and then she does a lot of social media stuff for me too.
So you don't have anybody in the New York, New Jersey area, correct?
Not yet. I'm working on it.
Okay. So you're basically just selling your stuff through yourself through the lounges in New York and New Jersey.
Yeah, for that area. Yeah, they just reach out to us directly.
Okay. I'm trying to think, bro. I'm shot right now. I've been up since 3 o'clock this morning.
So I know you had Mr. Fahrenheit. I know you had the one you did with Cigar Dojo. Did you also do one called, what was it, the Rosewood as well?
Yeah, that's what I'm smoking right now.
Oh, that's what you're smoking now. Okay, see.
So now, who was that made for?
I did that one through Black Label Trading Company, Overhead Negra.
Okay.
Yeah, so me and James Brown put this blend together.
Are you doing any other special ones through another company?
There is a project I'm doing for a lounge. I'm not gonna mention the lounge just yet.
No.
I'm waiting for the samples to come from Aganorsa now. I should have them by the end of December. They're aging right now in Nicaragua. I did two specials. Well, it's one with Benny's Beverage Depot. So, and if you're not familiar with Benny's is like Total Wine or Specs. So I'm carried in all 46 locations, but they're only in Illinois. So I did a special cigar for them called John Baptiste. John Baptiste is the founder of Chicago. He's a Haitian black man. So I named it John Baptiste. His full name is John Baptiste Point du Sable. So I did that cigar. It's for Chicago, and anybody that wanted, they would have to know somebody in Chicago because Benny's doesn't ship cigars. So somebody had to go buy it and ship it to them. But I also have a follow-up release.
Okay, I was just going to ask that if
it's a follow-up. It's going to be called
just going to ask you that if somebody wanted those, do they ship, or do you have to know somebody to get them to ship them to you?
Yeah, you got to know somebody here that'll go to the store and buy it, and then they ship it to you. But I use a Corojo 2012 wrapper on that one.
So now, how many stops do you want in Chicago?
Actually, I think I know somebody in Chicago.
We're in 3 lounges in Chicago. So not a huge presence there as far as cigar lounges.
Do you just do lounges, or do you do like vape and smoke stores and things like that?
Because a lot of smoke shops up here have like walk-in humidors and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I have sold to smoke shops in the past. It's not really my type of customer because it's like a lot of times the smoke shops, they don't smoke cigars. They probably smoke weed. So they can't, if you had questions about the cigars, they couldn't tell you anything about the cigars. So it's like a free for all.
No, 100%.
Yeah, and if you're not a legacy brand and somebody comes and actually smokes cigars and they see my brand and they never heard of it, they probably walk past it because they think like, oh, it's just some generic brand that's out here. It's not Cohiba, it's not Drew Estate, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So I prefer cigar lounges where you can actually talk to somebody in there.
No,
I'm
you're
I'm
absolutely
gonna be honest
right.
with you. So we used to go to Hina's all the time, Cigar World.
Okay.
And I used to pass your brand. I'm like, oh, Black Starline. That's
no,
cool.
because I don't know how long they've been in there, but I haven't I've never noticed them until recently, at least.
I'm like, okay, and she has so many boutique brands. I'm like, all right, we'll try that another day. We'll try that another day.
Yeah.
And then you started popping up on social media, and then Danny told us about you, and then I was like, oh, we need to try them. We need to try to get them on a podcast. And we're a podcast that has no filter. We don't care.
We're just here for you to be
yourself.
It's more for you to be you and kind of just just hang out and tell everybody. And there's no real like this is what we're going to talk about. It's just kind of, if we go on to something and you have a story about something and you want to go, you just go on that story and we just let you go. And that's just what we do. I mean, that's how we are, and that's why a lot of people like us, because you can come on here and just be you. You don't have to, not that you don't have to be professional, but you can kind of do and say what you want.
Oh, that's every interview.
Because that's just that's just how we are.
But I gotta tell you, this cigar is really good, bro.
I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah, it's a solid. The bloom is a solid medium. It's just flavorful, great everyday cigar. Smoking in the morning, smoking in the night. It's good.
So now let me ask you this: being that we're smoking these, how much would a box go for at retail normally? I know it depends on the location, obviously.
Yeah, depending on what state and taxes. It's $20 in the box. They average about $12 a cigar, so anywhere between $230 and $240, depending on where you are.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. In New York, it's probably going to cost me about $270.
No, probably a little more than that.
You know?
Yeah, y'all taxes was
probably a little more than that.
75% sales tax in New York.
Oh yeah.
That's why I don't buy nothing here if I don't have to.
Yeah, it's rate.
I don't buy nothing here if I don't have to. I go to Connecticut. I go to Jersey. I order my shit online. I go to everywhere but New York if I have to. If I can avoid it, I try to. Sometimes you can't because you got all the lounges.
Yeah, we carry that Delaware cigars in three of their locations. Yeah, Delaware cigars. We carry there too.
Okay.
LJ Zuka owns and LJ Zuka distributes Black Label Trading Company. Now, back to your point about the smoke shops. Now, some of Delaware cigars locations, they are like smoke shops, from what I was told, but they have like extensive humidors in there. So, yeah. But that's another one on the East Coast. I don't know how far it is away from you.
Delaware, I'll have to look them up.
Like 2.5 hours.
But I know, like the smoke shop that I go to, the one by me, they don't know a lot about cigars themselves because some of them don't really smoke cigars. But
oh, you know what? We're carrying.
They do have a pretty extensive humidor as far as like that's CK.
That's an hour and
a half. Yeah,
he's about an hour or so, hour and a half. He's not that far.
Yeah, he has that stuff too. I forgot about him.
Yeah, he's not that far, but I also know he ships too if I need him to. Because I think he does it I think he ships too, which even if I ordered from him, I could have him ship them to me if I don't feel like taking that ride. Because you know, you get down to the city in Long Island, bro. That traffic is killer out there.
Oh yeah,
you could sit in standstill traffic for an hour and a half.
Oh yeah, I didn't rent a car when I came to Long Island the last time, and we took an Uber from the hotel. We stayed by the airport in Queens, and we took an Uber over to Long Island. That fucking Uber was $80. So I was like, wow, I couldn't believe it.
Because they jacked you around for the highest price they could get you for down there. When you start hitting that city area, your prices skyrocket.
Oh yeah, it was top notch.
It's
how they fucked me. So
yeah, as long as you don't take a taxi cab, bro, you're all right. You really want to get raped, that's how you do it. You take a yellow taxi from where you are to Long Island. That's $475 plus tip.
Oh yeah.
Those dudes go down there. They're all those. Yeah, you might even have to give a little bit of a blood sample too. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, let's take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back. And we'll be back with everybody on Roku and Amazon as well right now.
Been home about 6 months now, and I still have my doubts. Well, I'm not sure how I got here or how I'm gonna get out. Well, my mama says I look the same as I did before I left. But if she could see inside of me, it would scare her to death. Well, I can still taste the powder from the barrel of my gun, and I can hear my sergeant screaming, "Run, soldier, run!" And I can feel the backpack on my shoulders, God, it weighed a ton. And I see death in every single thought. Well, they taught me how to put that uniform on. I just can't get it off. Last Saturday they honored us in a small parade downtown. And when they shot off those fireworks, I nearly hit the ground. And while they smiled and cheered for us, all I could do was stare. 'Cause part of me is here at home, but part of me's back there. Well, I can still taste the powder from the barrel of my gun, and I can hear my sergeant screaming, soldier, run. And I can feel the backpack on my shoulders. God and weighed a ton. And I see death in every single thought. They taught me how to put that uniform on. I just can't get it off. Yeah, there's no end in sight. 'Cause even though I'm home now, I'm still fighting for my life. Well, I can still taste the powder from the barrel of my gun. And I can hear my sergeant screaming, run, soldier, run. And I can feel the backpack on my shoulders. God and weighed a ton. And I see death in every single thought. Well, they taught me how to put that uniform on. I just can't get it all. Well, the devil's won some battles, and he may win some more. But don't he know the American soldier will always win more?
Yo, we back. Happy Sunday, fun day. Giants are starting at 1 o'clock. Shout out to Tommy DeVito, Mr. Cutlets himself. We're going to win the next 8 games. You heard?
Yeah, I wish. We could only be so lucky to win the next 2 games, let alone 8.
Shout out to Chicago because they ain't winning nothing.
Listen. Could be worse.
Hey, man.
Could be worse.
Yeah, I'm a big
You ain't got Urlacher no more.
Could be worse.
Yeah, I didn't like him.
You
either,
ain't got
bro.
Urlacher no more.
Yeah, I
Listen,
never even seen
could be
him
worse.
play
You could
before,
be a
bro.
Cowboys fan.
Yeah, I'm a Bears fan,
could,
but I'm an
you could be a
85
Dallas
Bears
Cowboys fan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Mike Singletary, the refrigerator that got sacked by
Yeah.
Lawrence Taylor. What?
Yeah. Now those are the
Like I
guys
said,
know.
at least we're not Cowboys fans. That's how I look at it. At least we're not Cowboys fans.
Let me ask you this. So what's the next cigar that you're gonna release?
Oh, it's something delicious. I'll be dropping a press release toward closer to PCA. It's gonna be a PCA release. I'm doing it through Tabacalera La Isla.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we should be, as of right now, we'll be at PCA with Ish from BAMF.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we were right across from them last PCA.
He invited us last year to go with him, but we couldn't make it because my mom got sick and stuff like that. So this year our plan is to be out there at PCA. This will be the first one we've ever gone to.
Yeah, well, you come on by my booth.
So,
it's the Black Starline Lounge, and we average going through 5
I'll
bottles a day.
make sure to stop by.
Yeah, we run through 5 bottles of whiskey a day. I'm doing a ton of interviews, so if y'all doing interviews,
yeah, I'm gonna be sitting at your lounge. I'll be sitting at your lounge all day. By the way,
that's if my VP of sales don't run you off. Cliff is a bulldog. He'll run you out of there if you're too long. Yeah, but yeah, now y'all come by, have some drinks if you're doing interviews.
The seat. Don't worry about it. I'll rent the seat. I rent the seat, brother. Don't worry about it. Nobody can sit in that seat. That's the boss dog seat, you heard?
Well, that's after we do some other business and go see and talk to some other people too. We got a lot of people that want us to come see them this year.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
We've had a bunch of people on that are going. They're like, "Oh, come by our booth. Come by." I'm like, dude, I got like probably 4 hours to walk by your booth.
We had Blackbird.
We had
Alcatura,
Blackbird.
Michael G.
Yeah, we had Rick Rodriguez from West Tampa. I mean, we've had just about
half the cigar world.
Well, I wouldn't say half. There's a lot more we haven't had.
This was the first one on January 7th. That wrote.
Is somebody's car smoking?
No idea. No idea. I don't care.
That's crazy. So I saw, because I meant to ask you about this, because I noticed, I think it's the only Connecticut you have, the Warwich.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Does it only come in that one size, or does it come in other sizes?
Corona 6x46.
And how
comes to
7.5
by
and
40,
how difficult is that?
And then a Robusto 5x50.
I asked everybody. Oh wow, damn, 3 sizes. Okay, so I asked this to everybody because I know it's a common question. How hard is it to blend and make a Connecticut? Because you don't want it super overpowering, but you don't want it super light either.
You don't want it where it's going to break in the cold weather.
Yeah. To be honest with you.
You know.
Oh yeah. To be honest with you, Woolwich was lightning in the bottle. Like I put that blend together when I first talked to Terrence Riley. He asked me what blends. I sent him 2 blends. One was Woolwich and one is the blend I'll never use because I didn't like it. Even after I aged it for a while, it didn't taste that good.
Okay.
So anyway, when I got Warwick in, the way it is on the market now is the way it was in sample mode. I didn't have to change a thing to that cigar. It was just phenomenal from Jump Street. So to be honest with you, with that one, that was purely lightning in the bottle. I don't even know if I could recreate Warwick, because it was just so special, and different as a Connecticut. Yeah,
well, that's why you write everything down.
Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes the lightning in a bottle, you could write it down all you want, but it's never gonna you're never gonna have that same taste or that same aroma or the same. It's not gonna taste the same, even if you wrote it down to try to recreate it again.
Bro, when we put our cigars out next year, all my cigars are gonna taste so different. It's gonna be in the phone.
Yeah, but
like, yo, make sure this shit is like that.
But you know what though? A lot of times you could write it down. If it's your first blend, you could try to recreate that blend years down the line, and it still probably wouldn't taste the same.
Yeah, all my blends are written down,
crazy.
And they're in my mind, and they're also. Cliff keeps a record of the blends. I keep a record, so if anything happens, we have them. Because I'm like right now, I'm like 8 or 9 blends in. So sometimes if you ask me about like earlier on blends, like what exactly is in there, I don't remember because I got other blends in my head, and then
because you're so busy working on the next project that blend is not far behind you, but it's just there because you're all the way here.
Yeah, because I did Warwick 4 years ago, so I remember some of it.
And I think that's kind of that had kind of been. I think that was the first time because that was during COVID, right?
Yep.
Or right before COVID, yeah. So I think that was right around the time I had kind of heard a little bit about your brand from that blend, from a few different people smoking it. But during COVID, everybody came out with cigars.
Yeah.
So
and you notice a lot of those companies don't exist anymore.
Yeah, or they're trying to catch back up now and make it good again. Which sometimes is a lot harder than if you were to just start back over again and come out with all new blends.
Yeah, I call those companies COVID companies because they thrived during COVID because that's all everybody was doing was smoking and drinking. Then you had the whole like Black Lives Matter thing going on. So they were like, yeah, we're going to buy every black cigar. We had that going on. So that died out. COVID went away. And when everybody started going out and not just sitting around smoking, all those startup COVID companies went goodbye, except for me.
And now there are a few that did make it out of COVID. There's not a lot of them. Very few did. Like you, John from Sagrado Cigars had made it out of COVID.
Okay.
Ish was around before COVID too. You know, like there's a few companies that I say that started during COVID that kind of made it out and made it to market and, you know, are in lounges all over.
Yeah.
You know, not very many, and you know, not very many did. Especially when you're sitting around smoking and drinking, everything tastes good because half the time it's white label stuff that or stuff that's already out on the market that you bought from them that put your own label on them.
Oh yeah.
You know, and that's to
Those are the
me,
cigars
that's
I avoid.
not. It's good to. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's good to start that way, but like when we put our cigars out, we've already been testing blends for years. You know,
Okay.
certain things came up, so we put it on hold for some personal situations. Now that everything is kind of back and the podcast, now we want to push forward with the blends.
There's a lot of cigar companies, I'm not saying no names, but I'm sure you know who they are, that buy bundles and put their labels on it.
There's a few of them. I know a few of them.
Yeah, I know several of them too.
I mean,
I know a few of
then
them.
they go, oh, I blended this. Motherfucker, you didn't blend that.
Nah.
That cigar I smoked yesterday.
The white label is good if you know what you're looking for. But if you want to start making your own stuff, to me, the fun is in the blending process.
Yeah.
And it could just be me. I mean, I always hear from a lot of the guys we talk to that the fun is in the blending because that's where, you know, you take your kind of your that's where you make your masterpiece, basically.
Well, you know, Caldwell's Lost and Found line is basically, originally it was basically he was just white labeling cigars. He was going to different factories and finding old cigars that they hadn't sold, and he would put some crazy ass name on it and put a band on it, and you know he would sell it. But he told you he was doing that though.
No, but that was that was the mystique behind it. But that's why, and he did, and that's why a lot of people loved it because it was so good. It was good.
And
now, from what I've heard, and I don't know if this is true. Yeah, and now I've heard it's just he's making cigars specifically for that. He's kind of gone away from that, from what I've heard.
He's blending them now. Yeah,
he's blending them now. So that's why a lot of people don't like the Lost and Found because he's went away from that original motto of it of let's go to this factory, see what they have. Let's go to this one, see what they have.
Let me ask you this. I know you've been to many factories. So you don't have to tell me, but I'm going to ask you this question because our podcast has no filter. So what factories have you went to?
Oh, El Titan de Bronze, Aganorsa, Tabacalera La Isla, Oveja Negra, Aganorsa, Nica Sueño. I've been to Nica Sueño before too.
I've heard of them.
What's my boys and my guys in Manhattan? The fuck is the name?
Oh, Martinez?
Martinez, yeah, those are my guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
In their factory too.
Yes.
Yeah, those are my guys right there.
I haven't. So it's funny because Martinez isn't that far from us. We haven't been to Martinez, but we went to the Bronx and gone. We go to Rosario's all the time.
So check this out.
In the Bronx.
So next week, make sure you tune in.
We'll be in La Casa Grande Cigars.
Who does Chaz Palminteri?
He blended Chaz's cigars, the Bronx Tail, with Epic Cigars.
Yeah, Dean is my boy. Yeah, I love Dean. That's my guy.
Yeah, we'll be with Paulie, the guy that he rolls them. I think he rolls them in his.
Yes.
I've never met him before. But I know Dean. I know Dean very well.
Yeah, so his cigar shop is in the Market on Arthur Avenue in the Bronx.
Ah, nice.
And when you walk in, he showed a video of it, and you walk in, man, and it's literally like there's a little walk-in humidor, and then it's all the guys just rolling. Just rolling right in front of you. You could be sitting there eating food and watching this guy roll your cigar sitting right next to you like this. You could be looking right over at him, watching him roll it.
Yeah.
So we'll be with him next week, sitting down and you know, I'm asking him all about that cigar because I'm curious to know how that even, you know, how that happened. I've heard mixed reviews about it. You know, kind of like every cigar, you hear mixed reviews, but you don't know until you try it.
Yeah. Me would not,
And
without me having, I've never had the cigar, but just
right,
guessing, it probably would be little too mild for me. I'm assuming
right,
because Dean is coming from Epic that it's a all Dominican tobacco, and I'm not a huge fan of all Dominican tobacco. I can smoke a cigar with Dominican tobacco in it, but if it's too
right,
much in that, I kind of don't like it. It doesn't have the
right.
same Dominican tobacco doesn't have that same characteristic and that punch like Nicaraguan tobacco does.
No, and
So
I've said that for a long time. And I've
yeah,
always said if Dominican cigars are done right, some of them can have that punch, but they have to be done right.
yeah.
And
That's why I was
you
so
don't
proud of
find
Mr.
very many
Fahrenheit.
Dominican cigars done right.
Yeah, I was so proud of Mr. Fahrenheit because that was the first time I used quite a bit of Dominican tobacco in a cigar. Because Mr. Fahrenheit is a Connecticut broadleaf
Okay.
with a Dominican binder and Nicaraguan Dominican filler with a shaggy foot on it, so you get to smoke the filler before you get to the wrapper.
Yes.
So that, and it came out really good. So that gave me a little more confidence that I could work with other tobacco than Nicaraguan tobacco.
Yes. Now, Mr. Fahrenheit, is that still available or is that off the market now? Was that like a
No, it's
limited
available.
run?
No. It's
Okay.
available. I actually got a whole order of it coming from the Dominican Republic. It's gonna be delivered to my warehouse on Tuesday. So
Okay.
it's rocking. No, that blend is
I'm
great.
gonna keep an eye out for that one because that's something I want to try. That's
Yeah.
something I've been wanting to try for a while. I just haven't like I said, it's been one of those every time I've gone to get it, no matter where I've went to get it, online, it's all sold out by the time I go pick it up. I'm like, damn. I'm like, it just came in.
Yeah, it's a good cigar, bro. A very good cigar.
Like I said, I've heard great things about you and the brand and the quality of the cigars themselves as well, because that's a big thing that sometimes you don't get from a lot of brands
Yeah.
is the quality.
Yeah, I appreciate it because as you know, there's thousands of cigars to smoke out there. So the fact that in 5 years I found some kind of way to make myself stand out amongst all these
Right.
other companies, it speaks volumes. And I appreciate anybody that's even smoked the cigars or thought about smoking my cigars or told somebody about my cigars. Because that's how we in business. By some
Right.
people smoking because I can't smoke all this shit myself. So
No,
I
and
appreciate everybody smoking with me.
that's why when my dad had said, why don't we have you on, and I'm like, actually, I'm like, that's a good idea. Because we've been looking for a lot of, there's so many brands that people like, oh, you got to get this one, you got to get this one, you got to get this one.
Yeah.
And then, we had Danny on a few weeks ago and he goes, why don't you reach out to him? I'm like, you know what? I'm like, because we were pretty booked up for October. We were booked up for almost all of November. So that's why I'm like, you know what? Let me get through the next week or two of shows, and then I'll start booking what I'm missing. And then you were the first person that we reached out to because we're like, you know what? Everybody said great things about you, your cigars, your events. I mean, Danny couldn't say enough great things about you.
Yeah, that's my buddy.
So and Danny, we've known Danny since during COVID. Like right before COVID, we met Danny on Instagram. And a lot of times, if Danny's raving about a company or their cigars, we know that it's got to be good.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't do that for everybody.
He first interviewed me at TPE years ago, and I think this was when he was first starting out, like doing interviews. So he was nervous, and it was funny. I could see beads of sweat dropping off him as we talking. I'm like, bro, relax, man. It's cool. We just talking, bro. Relax.
That's kind of. I mean, when we first started this, we've been doing it only a year now. People are like, you guys are you're relaxed when you do it, or you know what you're talking about, or you just kind of let them go. I'm like, because the point of this podcast isn't for us. I said it's for our guests to talk and just kind of explain their brand. Now, when we first started this, it was totally different. I mean, we had we'd sit down with somebody, be like, oh man, what are we going to talk about? Shoot. We'd go to commercial break and we'd sit there and go, okay, So we asked him about this. Let's do this. Let's do this. You know, and we'd write stuff down. And I'm like, after you do it a couple of times, you're like, you know what? Depending on who it is, they can kind of, you know, speak for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we kind of just give them the platform and say, hey, listen, you know what? Here's what, let's have you on. Let's do this. Let's do this. And, you know, obviously we ask the basic stuff of, you know, how'd you get into the industry? How'd you come up with the name? And then after that, it's kind of, if you're smoking something and we're smoking the same thing, you know, let's go into that blend. Let's talk about it. Let's, you know, dive deep into that. And then if you have something specific you want to talk about, like if you say, oh, you know what, let's dive into the rosewood, right? Okay, well, let's dive into it. Let's let everybody, you know, listen and kind of hear what's about.
Mm-hmm. Well, since you
And
brought
that's
Rosewood
kind of
up,
what it is.
let's talk about the name of Rosewood.
Let's talk about it. See what I'm saying?
It's Rosewood 1923 is the actual name of the cigar. So me and James were planning on working with each other for like almost a year and a half, but we couldn't get it started because he was expanding Oveja Negra. He was upgrading the factory, and if you ever take a tour of his factory is phenomenal. It's real clean and it's modern and it's nice. So anyway, he finally finished the upgrades on Oveja Negra. So he hit me up. He was like, "Bro, I'm ready for you, man. You ready to rock?" I was like, "Oh, hell yeah." So we had
Yeah, I'm
another
waiting.
name.
I was just waiting on you.
We had another name to call it, but Rosewood kept popping into my head. And this is in January of 2023. It kept popping in my head. So I was like, okay, so something wants me to look at Rosewood. So I looked up Rosewood, and lo and behold, it was the 100-year anniversary of when the race ride happened. So Rosewood 1923 pays homage to the victims of the race ride in Rosewood, Florida. So when I saw that, I was like, yeah, that's the name. I was like, the spirits want me to talk about what happened so they don't get forgotten. So I was like, oh yeah, I got you. I was like, I named it that. Cigar Dojo did the branding for the band. And I told them, I was like, it's a Black Starline cigar, but I need a black label trading-ish band. And that's why that's how this came up. You know, so it looks
and
like a black label trading company band, you know.
It does, and it's a nice, you know, it's a nice mashup that you did to put the band together. You know, you kept it kind of your style, but incorporated theirs as well. And it makes perfect. You know, you get bands that don't make sense, that sometimes look weird. That has always caught my eye. Like when somebody posts it, that always catches my eye.
Yeah.
And it's just, it looks cool. It does.
Now, Lalibela is the strongest cigar I have on the market right now. It's a San Andreas wrapper with Nicaraguan binder and filler. It's made by Aganor Salif. Now, Lalibela are the stone churches that were built into the ground in Ethiopia. And there's supposed to be 12 of them. They found 11 of them, and the 12th one is supposed to be where the Ark of the Covenant is. But Indiana Jones got that a long time ago, so it's not there anymore. It's in a warehouse somewhere. But yeah, that's why I wanted to call it Lalibela, because if you look up Lalibela, those stone churches are amazing. Like I don't even know how they built them. They're amazing, and they're just beautiful structures. And a lot of people don't even know that they exist, and that's why I wanted to shine light on that area, to let people know, like, hey, if you do go to Ethiopia, go see fucking Lalibela, because you're gonna be amazed with it.
And you could take the Lalibela cigar and smoke it in front of the churches.
Oh yeah, and make sure to
you know what I'm saying? And you do it right. Tag them, and make sure it gets out there, so that way you could see you're in front of the churches smoking that cigar.
Yeah.
So
Mr.
now,
Fahrenheit is for firefighters. Mr. Fahrenheit's for firefighters. But the name actually comes from Queen, from Don't Stop Me Now. In that song, Freddie Mercury sings about, he mentions Mr. Fahrenheit in the lyrics. So I just took that one name out of there, and I used it for the cigar.
Because it makes sense. Because it works together. So I know you said you got quite a few cigars coming out. How many are you looking to release next year? And is there anything else coming out this year?
Nothing else this year. I'm done for this year. I think I'm gonna do just one core release next year. That's the PCA release. That's gonna be a
Right.
core cigar.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm doing limited edition stuff for different people. It's definitely gonna be another dojo release coming in there because everybody's going crazy over Yasuke. You know,
yeah, I saw that one and I didn't get a chance to
Mhm.
pick that one up.
Oh yeah, that honestly that might be one of the best blends I've done yet.
But I heard it was fantastic. I heard nothing but
Let
great
me ask you
things.
this. If
What's
I
up?
hit you up on DM,
Nah.
can I pick that cigar up?
What, Yasuke? It's sold out.
It's sold out.
It's sold out.
Completely.
It's sold out in 6 hours.
Yeah,
that fucker
I
sold
remember
out
when
in
it
6 hours,
went
bro.
up. I'm like, I was getting paid the next day. I'm like, perfect. I'm like, I'll get paid. I'll pick it up. And then it went out. And I was like, well, I guess I'm not picking that up. I was like,
well, you got to think about the
okay.
audiences that all the companies that came together to sell it, bro. It wouldn't.
Yeah.
I have a great following. Then there's
Yeah.
Agador Salif. Terrence was posting about it.
Yup.
Then
Dojo.
Cigar Dojo, they have 27,000 followers. They were
And then I
posting.
think even
and then Smoke
I think
In.
even I was just gonna say I think even Abe posted about it.
Oh yeah, he posted. He was emailing his customers, everything.
That's a hell of a back and a half with Smoke In.
I'm about
yeah.
I'm
Say it
about
again?
to bounce because it's fucking cold out of here.
He's cold. He's gonna go inside. I'm gonna finish this
inside.
up.
Yo, shout out to Chicago weather. Shout out to my son.
We'll leave this here.
We appreciate you coming on, dog. I love
thanks
you.
for having me, man.
Love
you too,
cigar.
man.
Risk
I'm
of
gonna
heat
finish
stroke.
this motherfucker later.
Hypothermia.
My
Nice.
man.
This motherfucker
My man.
got hypothermia now.
No. That's what the top of the heater
So,
says. It
yo,
says risk of
guys,
heat stroke, #hypothermia.
This is your best fucking podcast on here. Turnbuckles
You're
and
out though.
Stogies.
I'm gonna be here and finish this.
I'm out.
I'm gonna finish this
All
up.
right. Take care.
Cold.
I'm all right.
I gotta go outside.
It's not too bad. I mean, it could be worse.
It's
What's the
cold,
temperature?
It could be I think it's like it's 48 and windy right now.
Okay. Yeah, it's 46
But
here.
It's 48, it's windy, and there's clouds above me.
Yeah.
So there ain't no sun.
Mhm.
None whatsoever.
Well, I got a permanent heater here in my garage, so it's 80 degrees in here.
I got one of those little ones that you plug in.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm looking to do is my back porch. We have curtains up right now. We had it up for the summer just to block the sun. So I bought tarps that I'm gonna kind of like staple across and drop them down. And then this way, when I sit out there, I put on this heater and my little propane heater,
Mm-hmm.
and then kind of, cross heat it, and I can sit out there so that I'm not as cold, because to us, the closest lounge is like 45 minutes minimum.
Yeah.
So it's like some nights you don't feel like driving that far. I'm like, do I really want to go there? I could just sit at home and smoke. Most of the time I'll bundle up. I'll put on a jacket, a hat, and I'll sit outside for an hour or two, smoke a couple cigars, and then come in for the night.
Yeah, I don't go to lounges in Chicago. We average like 100 events a year. So I'm on the road a lot, bro. And not only am I going to the lounges that I'm doing events at, but I'm also going to new lounges to see if I can open up the market more in whatever city I go to. So when I come home, I don't want to sit in another lounge. This is my lounge right here. I got some leather chairs in here. Got a humidor out here, refrigerator. I got maybe about 40 bottles of whiskey. So
you'd be all right. That's enough.
And if I get stupid drunk, I could just stumble right back into the house instead of having to get in the car, like you saying, and drive 45 minutes.
And that's why I like, sometimes people like, you don't go to lounges. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, if my mom and sister feel all right, I smoke in the house.
Yeah.
And they don't mind, because I sit by the back door. I leave the back door open so the smoke goes out, and then I just spray when I'm done, or I put on a jacket and I sit outside on my back porch.
Yeah.
And I turn my TV to the back door and I sit there for hours and watch TV and smoke. I'm like, sometimes I don't want to go to a lounge.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's sometimes you just don't feel like driving.
Mm-hmm.
And people, they're like, yeah, but I said, I have my days where I go to lounges. I said, but sometimes I don't like being around all those people all night.
Yeah.
I'm
Like
like,
today
you get
today
there.
is
Yeah.
what's known as Black Starline Church. It starts at 1 o'clock my time. It's Black Starline Church, and
Oh,
I'm the
nice.
pastor. Yeah, I'm the pastor, and it's AKA day
That's
drinking. So
that's a great church to be a part of.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. So
I
yeah,
mean,
so it'll
this
be
this
about
cigar,
10
bro,
people over
is
here later.
is fantastic. By the way, I'm
Oh,
really
thank you,
enjoying
brother.
this.
Thank you, brother. I
I
appreciate that.
can't wait to try the rest of your line. I'm definitely gonna look for that Lalibela because I like a nice full body cigar.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely in my
Tinderbox and
wheelhouse.
Tinderbox Haverford has a they just picked this up, and
Okay,
they have a sampler that they're selling now. So
really?
if they're not gone already, you can get in on that. I think it was Warwick, Fahrenheit, Maroon, and Rosewood. I think it was. It was 4 cigars.
Okay,
So you can get that sampler from there too. And then, they
I'm gonna
write in
have to look into
Pennsylvania.
that.
Yeah, they write in Pennsylvania, so it probably would take about 2 days to get to you.
If that,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it, and you know what, I'm usually out that way sometimes anyway. I'm planning on going out there soon to a shop to do a podcast. So if they're not far from where I'm at, I'll just go pick it up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I'm always, I like when I find the boutique brands that take time to perfect their craft and kind of, and you're also not cranking out cigars one after another either, which is another thing that sometimes can get overwhelming with certain boutique brands or certain brands. It's like they don't give it time to develop for the new one they just put out, because 2 months later they're putting out something else.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. Like I understand, like if you put something out in April and you release your special edition in June, I get that, because that's a special run, that's a one-off. Once that's gone, that's gone. Like I understand doing those kind of like that, but like to release a core cigar and then 2 months later release another one, and then release another one 2 months after that, it's like you're oversaturating the market with your stuff now.
Yep, it's too much.
Because people are not even getting their hands on the first one, and you're already two more released behind them.
Yeah, I'm only looking to release one core
and
release
then,
next year.
Like you said, whatever special editions or lounge exclusives you have, then you go from there.
And that's what makes it fun for people,
which is
too.
going to
When I
be
have a
interesting
limited
to see.
release, they have to try to
Absolutely.
find it. Everybody likes to hunt.
And if you know certain people, I mean, sometimes like I know some people that own lounges, when they get something special in, or like I'll go to their shop, they'll be like, yo, I just got this special edition in, it's limited to, X amount of cigars. I'll be like, all right, cool, give me 5 of them.
Yeah.
Like if the lounge owner, sometimes they'll even put them aside for you and be like, yo, I just got these limited editions in. They're not super expensive. I figured you would like them. I put 5 aside for you.
Yeah.
And then I've done okay, cool. Let me buy one, see how it is. If I like it, I'll buy the rest of them. If not, you just put them back in the box and sell them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now you have your names picked out for your new cigar?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm just starting to develop the branding for it.
Perfect. I'm like I said, bro, I'm very curious to see what you come out with next.
Yeah, this name and the history behind it, you're gonna be very amazed and surprised that I found this. But it's very obscure, and some people might know about it, but a lot of people don't. And when I start talking about it, everybody's gonna be like, "Wow!" Like you're not. When I tell you, you're not gonna believe it until you look it up yourself and read it for yourself. You can be like, "Wow, I had no idea." So,
because it may even be something. It may even be something somebody's heard of but doesn't know the backstory behind.
Right.
Like it may be something in history. Be like, oh yeah, I remember hearing about that, but I don't know nothing about it. So it's
now,
like,
for that,
sometimes
that particular cigar, I used in the filler. I used Matafina, Pennsylvania broadleaf, Pelo de Oro is a Peruvian tobacco, and Esteli. Yeah, Esteli's in there too. So it's a good one. It's gonna be a Robusto 5x50.
Okay, now if you want, I'm not asking for the name or anything. Is it a full body, medium body?
Medium. Medium.
Medium. Okay.
Yeah, that one's medium.
Interesting. I'm curious now. I can't wait to see what it is for sure. Because I know listen, if I make it to PCA, which I'm 95% I should make it, I'm definitely gonna have to come by and
I should have samples by then.
And try one of those at least. Just to see what it is and taste it, just so that I can kind of know what the cigar is, and then rub it in everybody's face saying, ha ha ha, I smoked it before you. You know, sometimes it's just fun to do that and be like, oh, well, see, look, I got it. And when it comes out, you guys can have it.
Oh, yeah.
Like we did Rick Rodriguez, and we had the Circle of Life.
Yeah,
his
West
new
Tampa
blend.
Ricky. That's my buddy.
Oh man, I love Rick. Rick is my boy. He I met him in person at his last CAO event up here in Connecticut.
Okay. Yeah.
Right before he retired, as I call it, retired. Because he was like, yeah, you know, because that's when I was really working on my blending. So I said, when I get them, you know, Rick, I said, do you mind trying them? He goes, are you kidding me, bro? He goes, I would love to try them. I said, you know, I'm like, bro, I'd be honored if you try them for me. And give me your
super nice
seriously. And I was trying to get him on here since I started this thing. It's been so hard to nail him down. And finally I was able to do it. Oh, it was like my favorite episode so far. And I think because he's got so much knowledge, you know, and obviously you know this. I was just like, yo, what is this about? And I just let him go.
Yeah.
I just let him talk.
Yeah, he's a wealth of knowledge.
He sent us the Circle of Life, and it wasn't even out yet. I don't even think it's out still. I don't even think it's out yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
He had sent us the Gordo and the Robusto.
Okay.
And he was like, that's what we're going to smoke on the podcast. I said, okay, cool. So everybody's like, oh my God, you smoked that? I'm like, yeah. I said, actually, if you go back and watch the episode, we reviewed it while we were on the podcast. We talked all about it. That was the main focus of the episode. But I remember when he retired and I seen him post something up and he said something about coming soon. And I'm like, I texted him. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He was like, shh, I can't tell you right now. He goes, I'll tell you. She goes, shh, stay tuned for Monday. So when it came out, I called him. I'm like, really? I'm like, you couldn't tell me?
Yeah.
He was like, no, I couldn't. He goes, they made me promise not to. I'm like, fine, sure, I guess so. I'm like, I'll take that as an acceptable answer for now. But I mean, he's another one that's just, you know, and he's so open to helping people too, which is great.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't get a lot of that in this industry anymore.
Yeah.
You don't get guys like that willing to, you know, reach out and, you know, hey, do you mind testing this for me? Or, you know, letting me know what you think. There's very few people I've met that are willing to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you know this as well. You know, there's not many people that are willing to help the next person because they don't want their spot lost.
Yeah, well, I guess on the flip side of the coin, I've never experienced that, bro. I've gotten help from way before I was in the industry all the way up till now.
Right.
Like I said, Jonathan Drew, he didn't know me.
Yeah.
And he said he would help me as much as he could. You know, he's busy as hell. But he
oh yeah, Johnny, I love Johnny.
Yeah, he helped me guide me to where so I can get to El Titan and Bronze, and then like I said, Sean Williams helped me out even before I was in the industry, and I was just looking for more information besides Jonathan Drew. I mean, I sat and talked with Skip Martin and Mike Rosales from Roma Craft. Pete Johnson sat with me and gave me advice. Lito Gomez. I mean, like, and nobody discouraged me from coming into the industry. They were like, man, if you want to do this, we're gonna tell you how to do it. You know?
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of what we've gotten too. Is like, it's not that we've gotten like discouragement. We've just been told, you know, be prepared that, you know, it could take a while to make some money. It's kind of what we've always been told. They're like, you know, there's enough. We've been told there's enough money for everybody to eat, but just understand, you know, there may not be a lot of money to be made right away. It takes a
Yeah,
while.
you probably heard this joke before. It's an old industry joke, and it says the way you make $1 million in the cigar industry is you spend $2 million.
Yeah,
So,
I've always been told, and I've always been told the way to make it in the industry is don't try it, and if you want to make money, don't try it. That's what they've told me as a joke. They're like, "You want to make millions?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Don't get in this industry because it'll take a long time to get that."
It's the tough industry. And
It
everybody's like,
is.
oh, I smoke cigars. I want to have a cigar company, but you don't know the work that goes into this shit. Like, you have to travel. If you want to
Yeah,
be a bigger known company, you have to travel. You have to get in front of the people. You have to sit
absolutely.
there and smoke with people and get to know them, because it's not, a lot of times it's not even just the product is good. They'll buy the product could be subpar, but if they
They
like
buy
the
it, but
owner, they'll still
yes,
fucking buy it.
I was just gonna say, we're brokers for a few different companies up here, like
Okay.
Ish and a few other guys, getting them into shops, and a lot of times the product. Even with another company, I worked with a few different ones, but one of the products wasn't the greatest.
Mm-hmm.
They bought them because they liked me and because I had the
Right.
relationship with the shop owners as a customer already.
Yeah. Mhm.
Because I've gone into shops and I'll be in the humidor buying my own stuff, and somebody be like, "Oh, what's this?" or "What's that?" And before the owners can get there,
Mhm.
a lot of times they rely on their clientele to try to help.
Yeah.
And because I don't say I know a lot, but I know enough
Mhm.
to ask them, like, what do you like to smoke? And I like the, they'll be like, oh, I like the Hoya de Nicaragua Connecticut's. Okay. So so if you like that Connecticut, maybe try moving up to this one because it's along the same lines. It's just a little stronger. Or I'll guide them to another Connecticut or something like that. And somebody's like, why don't you work in a shop?
Yeah.
I said, I tried. They told me because of my knowledge, I was overqualified.
Wow. That's weird.
I was like, you know why? Because I had worked on the manufacturer side at one point as a rep, and then I worked for another company as a rep, and then I started testing my own stuff to put to market. So, to them, it was like, well, he's already overqualified because going to retail is a step back from where he already wants to be. So it's like, it's not that they're not overqualifying me. It's just that the way it was explained to me was I understood it 100%. It was basically because I've gone to the manufacturer aspect of trying to put out my own stuff. To put you in a retail store is kind of like there's no growth for you.
Yeah.
The growth is there if you go be the manufacturer and put out what you want to put out.
Yeah.
So
I got you.
But
I got you.
I'm definitely going to be smoking. I'm definitely going to be smoking the blue one. If it stays nice out and I can fix my back porch, I might smoke it today. Unless I go out to my boy's house tonight for a game, and I'll smoke it tonight.
Okay.
But I'm really enjoying this. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on the rest of the line. I opened up a small batch just to see what they had while I was sitting here.
Ah, nice.
I was curious just to see what they had on there for your brand, because I'm very interested in trying the rest of the lines, and I'm looking forward to what you put out.
My man, I appreciate it.
We appreciate you, bro, for coming on and taking time out of your morning to hang out with us for a little while. Even though it's a little cold out here, but it's okay. I'll be all right. But we'll definitely we'll have to do this again for sure.
Yeah, just let me know. I'm around.
Absolutely. We'll I'll see if we can pick something up. Maybe we'll I'll talk to the radio station here that I'm with and see if there's nothing going on one night. Maybe we'll see if we can set up a herf on here with, on here or on Zoom or something, and maybe record it and post it for the YouTube page and have a bunch of people on smoking with us.
That's fine. Just let me know.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. We'll set it up, and I'm definitely gonna go pick up the Marone, the 5-year anniversary, because I've heard that's fantastic as well. So,
oh yeah,
again,
yeah, I just released a special version of it at La Zona Palooza.
Really?
This past week. I was down in Miami with them, and it was supposed to be a 5x50, but they made it in a 5.5x50. So I was like, whatever. But it's a box press with a closed foot on it, and
Oh,
it's phenomenal. Yeah, when I first got it, when I was down in Palooza, and they handed me the bundles. I smoked 3 of them in a row, and I never smoked the same cigar in a row. So
I mean that box press with the closed foot, bro, sounds something I would enjoy for
oh
sure.
yeah, I have it. What did I do with it? Oh, here it is. Yeah, here. That's it right there.
That looks good. I
Yeah,
like
so it's a
that.
Sumatra wrapper. It's the first time I used Sumatra leaf. The Sumatra wrapper with
Okay.
Nicaraguan binder and filler. It's medium full.
Now, is that going to market, or was just like a La Zona exclusive?
Right now it's an exclusive, but it will sometime next year. I will release that size. I'm just not sure when. But the Robusto version of maroon is coming. It's just I'm not sure.
Okay.
It's sometime next year. It won't be for PCA, but
Okay.
it'll be sometime next year.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we were supposed to be at La Zona, but they never wanted. We know one of the reps for them, or rep or broker, whatever he is for them. He was supposed to get us the email sent, but they never sent it. So we actually are having Hector, the master blender, on next
that's my
month.
boy. Yeah, Hector, that's
So
my guy.
when we told him we were supposed to be there, he was like, next year. He was like, we're gonna change that. He goes, we'll make sure you guys are there.
Yeah,
I'm like, listen, if you want us there, you know how to get a hold of me. I'm not a hard guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't mind coming. Because I was looking at all the stuff they had. It was a lot of stuff. Like the Mercy Lagos, there was like 4 different kinds they gave you. Or whatever. I'm like, holy shit. I'm looking at the thing. I'm like, holy shit, that's a lot of cigars.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a lot of shit. Now, it looks like a good time. I can't wait to go next year. I'm looking forward to trying, like I said, that the Marron, the what is it, a Toro size it's out now, right?
Yeah, the regular production right now is a 6x50. A skinny Toro.
Okay. Listen, I'm gonna assume that's what this is too, right?
That's a 6x46 Corona.
Okay. See, I would have never. It looked a little smaller than a Toro to me, but I would have never guessed Corona. It doesn't. To me, it doesn't look like a typical Corona, because usually to me, Coronas are a little skinnier than the 46, because a lot of them do it a lot skinnier. So
yeah. Now Rosewood is a 6x48, so it's a little thicker.
Okay. Not quite the Toro, but almost there.
Right.
Listen, like I said, everything I've seen, bro, so far from everybody that's posted, everything looks good. I mean, I say that for a lot of people, that everything looks good, but then you try them and it's like, oh, it wasn't as good as I thought it was. And I've heard nothing but great things from everybody that smoked your cigars.
Yeah.
And it's people I trust, like Danny and a few of my other buddies who may have put out their own cigars, and they smoke them, and everybody that I've kind of entrusted in to tell me if it's good or not has all told me great things. So
yeah, we work hard.
It was a privilege to have you on. It was a privilege to have you on, bro. And I will, as I get more in, I'll definitely be making sure I tag you, and getting to spread the word to people to try them, because you'd be surprised how many people have never heard of certain brands before. It's like, how have you never heard of them? I'm like,
I run into some people who have never heard of Romacraft before.
That's crazy to me. That's crazy, because that's everywhere. Romacraft is everywhere.
I was like, wow, you never heard of Romacraft?
There was brands I had heard of, but never smoked. Like I'd never smoked Viaje until a couple of years ago, but I'd always known about them.
Great money. That's a great brand.
Then Tatuaje, I've smoked a few, but the surrogates I heard great things about. I didn't smoke the surrogates till like a year or two ago.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah,
those are good.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, you hear things about these lines or these brands, but you don't hear any. But you don't try them. And then when you try them, it's like, damn, I was missing out this whole time.
Yeah. I guess with me, I'm a lot different, because I always look for the smaller companies. That's because I'm a smaller company, so I'm looking for companies that are like me or a little bit bigger. You know, those are the type of blends and cigars that I'm looking for.
Well,
Every city I go to,
kind of where
I try
I've
to
gone
find
now.
something different.
That's kind of where I've gone now. Is we had a Tatuaje event the other night. I went and I bought surrogates.
Yeah.
I bought 4 or 5 different ones. You know, I happen to like that line and that brand so far, so I figure why not keep smoking it. But listen, bro, I appreciate you coming on. This would be
anytime.
There'll definitely be a part 2 to this. So thank you again. We appreciate you. Everybody will be back next week with La Casa Grande Cigars. So that's something you're going to want to watch because, honestly, I don't know who's supposed to be there and who's not. I'm not going to say certain people may not be there and certain people may because, again, I don't know. I organized to be there, and whoever shows up, shows up. So on that note, guys, it's been another fun Sunday. We appreciate you guys. We'll be back next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.